8. And Larry Mitchell is coming soon. Looking forward. 2 minutes. Cheers. My man, he's here. Hey, Larry. You made it.
I made it.
Yeah, come on.
I was so worried I was going to end up in, I don't know where.
No worries. Hey, we're still cool. Okay, welcome.
Are we live right now?
Not really, but maybe we can use it.
Okay.
So welcome to Saarbrücken, a long journey from, what was it, Düsseldorf?
Düsseldorf.
Yeah.
2 hours later than normal.
Yeah, all good, all good. Hey, I'm totally relaxed because usually we are supposed to start 1:15, but
Okay.
I usually start 45. So, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so, yeah.
Happy to be here.
Yep. So, this is the outside. First time ever in Saarbrücken. So, my car is on this side. Okay.
We can play this while we're setting up.
Yeah, exactly. That gives us extra time. Okay, guys. So. Academy of Tone. Yeah, hey. Welcome to Academy of Tone.
Thank you. I can see this is.
This is Larry Mitchell in the house. Hey, it's a super big pleasure and honor to have you here.
Thank you. Thanks for waiting for me.
Oh yeah, I mean this was quite a day for you because you have been traveling from Düsseldorf with the Deutsche Bahn, which is not in best shape these days.
The first train was probably 20 minutes late, which automatically I got a message on my app that said, fortunately it was in English too, the message. It's German and English. Yeah. Said there's no way I was going to make the connecting train. Yeah. The problem was when I got there, it was even further later. Mm-hmm. Check. One,
yeah, okay, you make microphone. Oh. Yeah, okay. So today is the day with all the little
check one two
and stuff. Yeah.
So I got my first train was 20 minutes late.
Right.
Start off and I got a message, fortunately in German and in English, that I was no way I was going to make the second train. Yeah. So I was like, all right, we were trying to figure that out. Then it was a little bit further late, and then when I got off the train, someone that actually should have known that worked there put me on the wrong train.
Oh.
They gave me not the best information.
Yeah.
So it was going right for a little bit, and then I was like, these stops aren't lining up.
Right.
And so I asked a lady sitting next to me, and she said, no. So she said I had to go to Copeland, and then hop on a different train. Yeah. And that took 2 hours.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah. Finally, you made it.
I didn't make it. I didn't go to Russia, Siberia, or China.
And you didn't go to France because we are very close to the French border here. You could actually walk.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
When you're out of the train station, and then if you would walk for maybe let's say half an hour. Out the door and go steady across the river and then up the next hill, you end up in France.
Okay, except that if I did that, I'd be my legs already don't work right now.
No, all good. Yeah, and I'm very happy that you make it. I mean, you are on a European tour kind of thing.
I'm doing one of my tours where I'm playing, I'm teaching. Doing private shows, solo shows, no band shows this trip. Yeah. I did so I started out in Italy, played 2 shows. One very cool. You know, every time I'm in Europe, I'm in France, I'm in Germany, wherever, Spain, and I go, that looks like it was built by the Romans. They go, yeah, it was built by the Romans. It just looks like it's built by the Romans. So this time I'm in Italy, just outside of Rome, and I see the first show is in front of this building that looks like it's from Greece. And I go, that doesn't look Roman built. They go, no. I go, that looks Greek. It's this part of Carreer was part of Greece at one point.
Yeah.
And that was the first show was in front of the Temple of Hercules.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
In Italy. And I was like,
nice.
It was amazing. And then, so I did 2 shows in Italy. Then I went to Spain and hung out with my friend Jan and Bettina and did some lesson kind of stuff and flew back to Italy. Did one show, and then I went to Ireland for Emerald Guitar Fest. Emerald Guitars make carbon fiber acoustic guitars. Right. Yeah. No electrics, carbon fiber acoustics, and so they had me as a surprise guest to play. They had a tour of Ireland, and every historic site had that they took you to had somebody performing. Okay. It was freezing. Fortunately, my 2 performances were inside.
Good.
But it was freezing. Then I went back to Italy, did a couple of shows, and now I'm in Germany.
Yeah, and today it's not freezing in Germany. It's
beautiful.
Yeah. No long sleeve today. Yeah, we have a couple of nice late summer, what is it called? Indian summer days here. And the thing about me and Larry, we just, we bump into each other for several years at different places on this planet.
30 plus years now.
Yeah, I didn't know about that, but
30 years.
It kind of started with this little picture here that Larry reminded me of, and I forgot about it. See, this is the Tubeman by Houston Kettner, which I came up with in 1992. No, it was released in 92. My idea was 91. I even have a little patent on that with the Houston Kettner guys for a device
that is a tube-driven pedal that can go direct. Think of that 30 years ago. This was way advanced.
This is, that's what everybody's coming up with that now.
Exactly. So this was me back in the days, 30 years with my snakeskin jacket and the hair and the same guitar. See, it's the same guitar.
Oh, wow.
I mean,
what year is that?
That's a 61.
61, very nice.
So, and this, I had it, even on this photo, I owned this guitar since I was 17. So, nice. And it was clean, and now you see we're both getting wrinkles and older and gray hair and stuff like that. So, and just on the opposite side, there's Larry.
Yeah, that's right. He was opening the book looking for the picture. Yeah. And we're on the same, we're opposite pages.
Yeah. That's it. Which is cool. And a similar shot. I mean, he's in the studio.
Yep.
I'm in the studio.
Yep. Because it was perfect. I think it was marketed to be for the studio, but I used it live as well.
Sure. Let me explain the idea behind it. At that time, I was already doing session work, and I had a friend who was from Germany, but he kind of moved to London into a studio. And then, from here to London, there's Luxembourg is 1 hour by car, and then you have 1 hour by flight, and you are in London.
Okay.
So, and I have been a session guitar player in London. Funny, because my friend German recommended me there. Okay. So they booked me a few times.
And you came from here?
I came from here. How to get amps on the plane?
No.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So I had bags with whatever. Rack gear, Mesa Boogie, I don't know what I had. And all that stuff. And the Heusen-Kettner Tubeman Mark I, here it is actually. I still have it. This fits exactly into the hard case of that vintage 60. Yeah, because the 60s Fender cases have a compartment with a flap, and this is designed to be exactly that size. And the idea was going direct into the mixer. So I had my 4 sounds already for the studio, but also, and that was the other idea, to use it into a guitar amp or into a power amp.
Yeah.
So kind of the options.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is great. Way ahead of its time.
Yeah. 30 years ago. So you've been a Heusen-Kettner artist.
And then I had to try the Axis MIDI preamp.
Yeah, sure. Also my baby.
I used that on I think I used that on Tracy Chapman tour.
Oh, okay.
Because Billy Squier had like a Marshall and a Mesa Boogie quad.
Yeah.
But I think on the Squier tour, on the Tracy Chapman tour, I used the Axis preamp, and the Tubeman was in my rack, I believe, as a backup.
Okay. Yeah. Talking about you and your career, I mean, I know only bits and pieces, but maybe. So one thing is you are an award-winning guitar player, producer. Give us some insights in what you can. I just know that you are a super tasteful guitar player.
Thank you.
With a super sense for melody, atmosphere, and that's always the thing that I admired when you are there. There is some atmosphere. It's like Larry enters the room and there's some like difference. It's not the whittle shreddy,
I can only do what I do.
Yeah, but you do it in a way that it's an experience, and I always enjoyed that. And even when we do jams and stuff like that, but that's your style. What is the thing about your instrumental music, and what's the Grammy thing in there? I mean, the Grammy. So
I only have a couple of awards. I have a bunch of awards, but only a couple for guitar.
Okay.
No one really cares how I play guitar. The Grammys for producing and engineering. I played on the record as well, but the award is for producing and engineering.
Okay.
A lot of the awards I have are for producing and or engineering.
Okay, it's important.
But it came in out of necessity later in the career when everyone's telling me that I was too old to be a guitar player. That's a whole nother story. But I decided I was going to. Someone trusted me and gave me the keys to their house and said, "Go make." They had a studio.
Yeah.
Go make a record, and I learned because up until that point, I had only been on the other side of the glass.
Yeah.
And so
recording.
I'm sitting down in the studio with all this gear, and I have to start calling people, go, how do you do this? How do you do that?
Yeah.
But I made two records. A horrible record never got released, electric record.
Yeah.
And with a lot of guests playing on it, and a basic acoustic record that saved me.
Okay.
And it's really good. And I wasn't an acoustic guitar player up until that point, really. But it gave me the confidence to continue going.
Yeah.
And know that I could do it without a company. This is mid 90s.
And this is way before the business changed.
Yes.
So you were ahead of the game back then too.
I was
in
trying.
that respect.
Because I have the passion for playing music. I'm going to do this regardless.
Yeah.
You have to have a strong will and passion to do this, because you will run into roadblocks guaranteed along the way. And if you don't have that passion, you're like, I don't want to do this anymore. It's too hard.
Yeah.
But you find a way to do it. So I got into producing and engineering, and then I play a lot of different instruments. I fortunately got better at playing different instruments.
Right.
So I produce a lot of singer-songwriters, world music, rock, contemporary Christian, country, gospel, R&B. Only done a couple of other instrumental records, guitarist instrumental records, some cello instrumental records, but and I get to play on the things. And as a producer, one of the things that happens is, for drums and bass, I know it needs to be there, and I'll play, and I go, all right, this is too much, and I'll play the right thing.
Yeah.
The keyboards, I'm struggling, but I know when it shouldn't be too much, or if it needs to be more and sound like really a piano player, I gotta hire someone.
Of course, yeah.
But as a guitar, the first thing I do is play a little bit, and then I listen back and go, that's not going to work. It's too much, because I revert back to being a guitar player first. But the other instruments, I always have the producer hat on.
Yeah. But I think it's good to have like two hats, because, as you said, like two sides from the, glass or the window. A lot of guitar players, honestly, I think they are missing the other side. If they would listen to what they play, they would play differently.
Yes.
Sorry for being a little bit offensive here.
No. But the one thing I always tell people, even if they're not players like singer-songwriters, is you have to listen. A lot of times when you record a track and immediately play it back, people start playing something else on top of it. It's like, no, let's listen to what you did. See if it actually works.
Yeah.
Let's see if it needs anything.
Yeah.
My philosophy is always, it's the song first,
Absolutely.
then it's got to be right for the artist.
Yeah.
And then it's got to be right for the record, and then it's got to be right for the song.
Yeah.
And you could easily do too much or not enough, or in the wrong direction.
Overplay it, because it's like, you get excited and you want to show the world something great, and then you play your best lick, but does it fit the song? That's the question.
If the song's not happening, people will stop listening before the greatest lick comes in.
And that's the major point. So, also what I believe is it's so important. Listen.
Yes.
Yeah. And So. As a guitar player, we met a couple of times. I think last time was in San Diego at Roni Lee's jam. Yeah. So this is another thing that I have to explain to the guys here. When I come to the US, I go there for the NAMM Show, but I stay longer.
Yeah.
Just like, making such a long trip, and then just fly in and out and get a jet lag and be at the show and hit back home after the show closes is stupid.
Yeah.
So I usually stay there a week longer, and maybe I come a few days earlier, depending on what I can afford. But so there's one of these occasion jams or invitations that we have a mutual friend, Roni Lee.
Roni Lee?
Yeah, and she also plays my amp, and she sometimes tours Germany with a guy called Martin Engelin, and I'm connected with him. He's a bass player.
Did I meet him at the Guitar Summit?
Probably.
Did he sing? Does he sing too?
No, that's the other one. That's my bass player in my band.
What's his name?
That's Rudi.
Yes.
You remember that? No, all good. But Martin is kind of a guy that it's kind of like in the British scene. There's when there were the Yardbirds, they had a lot of great guitar players coming in, Eric Clapton and Jeff Beck and Jimmy Page and them all in this kind of one band. And Martin is a similar type of guy. He makes like he connects. He has a jam band with always new people coming in.
Okay.
So and this for some reason he got hold of Roni, and Roni joined him, and then. When she comes to Europe, because she has like Italian family, so she makes the Europe trip to Italy and then plays that tour. And myself, I played that tour many times.
Nice.
And I made a lot of connections in that.
I want to play that tour.
Martin, I connect you with Larry.
Okay.
Because it's like you don't know who the singer is, you don't know who the drummer is. It's like, there's some great musicians and you just...
You know it's going to be a good time.
Yeah, and it's called Go Music because he says, we don't talk, we go music.
Okay.
Bam. So, and that's my jam experience. It comes from there. And Roni was there too. And then one day she was on tour and her amp blew up. Then she got my amp and she finished the tour. And this is how, things happen. And
why did her amp blow up?
It wasn't me. No,
I gotta say, I have tube amps too. I have a 100 watt 73 head. I have a couple other amps, stuff like that. I love tube amp. I love amp. They're all tools, right?
Yeah.
If you are going to take a tube amp, especially this day and age, which they have gotten better. I think all the modern stuff has forced amp builders to make their amps better.
Yeah.
Along with the technology. But if you're going to take a tube amp on the road, take two.
Yeah.
Or three. Or four. When I played with Billy Squire, he had 12 heads on the road. And several times they sent heads back to get worked on. Yeah. His idea of tone, which was great. I wish I listened to him more in 1991. Yeah. But Billy's idea of tone was 100 watt plexi for clean. And a 50 watt JCM 800 for lead. An AB box and a wah pedal. That was it. And he started with a Nocaster. Yeah. And then he went to a Telly. Yeah. Then he went to a Les Paul 59 Les Paul Jr. Yeah. 1P90. Yeah. Yeah, like that. Like exactly.
This is a 56.
Yeah. And then he had two gold top 57s, one with P90. Yeah. And one with
This is the one. Yeah, this is the 57 style. It's a 68. I'm totally on that. On the same page here with my taste.
Yeah. And then he would end the show with a 58 Sunburst Les Paul.
Okay, yeah.
And that was his stages of tone.
And of course, it's a great climax.
It was great. It was absolutely great. But yeah, they would have several heads. Because also with these amps, if you plug them in, the voltage is not right. It sounds different. He would try that. But several heads have to go back and get torqued and stuff like that. So so either take two amps or
amp one and
an amp one.
Yeah, and sometimes I would recommend also to take two amp ones, even though they are more reliable. But the thing is, it's 1.2 kilograms, so it's easy to sneak them, put them in the luggage. And then you're totally safe. Nothing can happen. Because sometimes we had a few amps killed by female singers with high heels jumping on the tube.
Wow.
Yeah. But anyway, so this was the Roni Lee thing. And San Diego was like, I don't know, on the Friday, probably the week after the show. I don't really remember. And isn't Roni Lee, or wasn't she living in San Diego for a while?
Yeah, she has a place in San Diego and one in Vegas.
Yeah. And I'm good friends with...
She's a rock star.
Yeah, sure. She's totally a rock star. I'm good friends with Jennifer Batten, who also plays...
Oh, yeah.
And she was living there for a while too. So I was curious to go there. So I said to Roni, I come and join in. Okay. And I was driving from like LA all the way down, whatever is the Santa Ana freeway to and then down to San Diego, and then up this very hill kind of thing where this club was. What was it called? Where we played in San Diego.
Navajo Live.
Navajo. So I came there, and then little blah blah blah, and the guy's super cool, and the owner of the club says, I heard you are from Germany. And then he's American guy and says, yeah, I was living in Germany in the 90s.
He's a football player.
Yeah.
Soccer player.
Yeah. And then they said, in the 90s, I played in a band called Tic Tac Toe, and he started to sing German. Ich finde die Scheiße, because he remembered those German songs.
Yeah, he has a cool brain. He just remembers a lot of stuff.
I was just shocked going, to a place where I've never been to on this planet for something I had no clue. Remember when Roni played her originals, I had no idea of what it is.
Oh, really?
I've never heard the songs. So I was going to the blonde bass player. What's Julie?
Yes.
Julie. I forgot the name, but So, and I was always watching on the finger, so I knew what. Jules.
Yes.
Yeah, Jules. I always was watching. Oh, we're in C minor. Okay, great. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So I was playing by ear. And then you came on. So great.
Yeah, we had great times. We jammed before that too at the Marriott at one of
your jams.
Yeah, jams.
With Neil Turbin, the singer.
Yes, which was great. We were doing
What's it called?
Neither one of our brains are working right now.
I mean, Tennessee Whiskey.
Tennessee Whiskey.
Yeah.
Woo.
See? And that's a song I don't think Germans ever play those. So when I join in these jams, I'm happy that it's only 2 chords.
Yes.
For half an hour. But it's like, wow, what's going on here? There is a lot of songs similar that we know internationally.
Yes.
But there are a few, this is like, that's very American to me. And this is one of those.
Okay.
It's like, interesting.
Yeah.
But
I'd rather go blind is the same, almost the same song.
Yeah. By Beth Hart, is it? Or
no, well, the original is
names. Okay, put it in the comments.
Yes.
I have the same disease, so I always ask the swarm. What is it called? The swarm intelligence of the internet. Rather go blind.
It's a singer, older singer.
It's one of those American traditionals. Yeah,
I can't think of her name now because my brain is mush from train rides.
Well, too many hours on the German train. So anyway, this was at the Marriott, and then by the way, Lucas, do we have pictures of this? Maybe we show some pictures. I didn't know if we have shown anything from the.
Oh, that's the jam with Roni Lee's. Yeah. And unfortunately, I mean, that was the beautiful Jamie Shadowlight playing violin right there. Jamie, we just had her memorial.
That's
in June or April? Yeah. June. I think it was June. Wow. Yeah, she just passed away. But yeah, that was a good jam.
Mm-hmm. And. Yeah, the bass player is even further to the right on the behind next to the keyboards. Anyway, or is it? Yeah,
I can't remember.
Yeah. I just remember that I was looking at
Etta James. Sorry.
Yeah.
There you go.
Etta James. Okay. Thanks. See, the swarm intelligence. It works.
Yes.
And it's a German guy, Ziggy Hauswirt. I know the guy.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Ziggy.
Yeah, and then. Do we have this? What was it? The Marriott jam with Neil Turbin.
Mm-hmm.
This was also cool.
Yes. So yeah, I've been doing that jam for 10 years now.
Wow.
It's actually not a jam. It's just my set, and it got started turning into a jam because it was the last song. And I was playing the Marriott and on a Thursday, and Andy Timmons was checking in. And I was like, all right, Andy, come on over and play. And he's like, and he checked in, and he came up on stage, and we played.
Wow.
And then the next year, my friend Travis Larson was around, and he played. And then I think the third year, Andy was back, and then I had 2 other guests. and then it just turned into the last song always turned into a guest. And this time it's gotten into like people expect to play, so now they give me 2 spots sometimes.
Cool.
And so I have like, you know, I play the first hour or so, and then I start bringing up people.
And now everybody knows where Andy Timmons is staying, at the Marriott.
Yeah, but Andy's done it. It's a cool jam. Besides yourself playing and Roni Lee, Joe Berger, who's a great guitar player, great engineer, he's played almost every the last
jam,
7 years. Richie Kotzen, Vernon Reed.
Wow.
I'm drawing a blank again. Had lots of people. Eric Steckel, Ali Venable, Mercedes Scalzetti. Lots of people who come up and jammed, and it's been really fun. We have some really nice jams and stuff like that. Yeah. And before COVID happened, the Marriott, they would shut the Marriott down. It's like no one else could, because it was just wall to wall people. And it was great. We have a really great time.
And then there's another jam at the rooftop.
That's Ronnie's jam.
Which is before the NAMM.
Yes, the Wednesday before usually.
And I've been invited there too, and you, and wait a minute, who else was joining in there?
Doug Doppler.
Tons of people. I'm not so familiar with the names, but unbelievable. What is Roni's favorite drummer? The black hair guy, looks a little bit Indian.
George plays with Rick Springfield. Great drummer.
It's like when I turn around and look what he's doing, I'm always enjoying. It's like it's so cool to lock in with him, and he's got that smack, you know.
He hits the drums like he plays stadiums. He hits the drums, and he plays the groove. And then if you give him the green light, he just like he can.
I love this kind of drummer. It's like no prisoners. And there was a cool girl too, one of, I don't know, with dreadlocks and like no shoes and stuff. She was totally cool.
I don't remember that.
I remember, you know, sometimes these little things, you know.
There was a couple of times. This last one was the only one I made it there from the beginning. Usually NAMM can be crazy for me. And so I think I had 2 events to be at, or I had a dinner and then I got there later and stuff like that.
And then there was Guitar Summit in, was it 2019?
No.
Or 21, or...
Could have been 18? It could have been 19. I think it was...
It was the one with Uli John Roth.
It was a great jam. You were running the jam.
Yeah.
And there was Pete Thorne. Uli Roth.
Yeah.
Phil X. Tom Quayle.
I think
Martin Miller. And there was a Swedish metal guy, blonde hair. I can't remember who it was.
Per Ackerson, some maybe. I mean, I'm not the metal expert. I have to admit.
Neither am I.
These guys are brilliant, and sometimes it's like, I'm so sorry because they are stars, and for me they are just on stage and hey, come on, it's like, and I go, if I remember one of those jams is like, hey guy, just turn up, you know. Don't be shy. And I went up for his amp, whatever he was playing, and cranked it. It was cool. And I remember that Phil X was actually having his... There were a few moments with Phil X that I remember. One was he was filming Uli and me trading licks with his iPhone. Then there was a song that he was singing where Gulli, my bass player and singer, thought his voice is not good enough to do it, and then he told Phil to sing it, and Phil goes,
has a great voice.
Great voice. And what he did is like, oh, no lyrics. So he took something from the internet, microphone here, you know, and then some Led Zeppelin, killer, you know. So Phil X rules.
Matthias.
Mikey
Davison was there.
Matthias Eklund.
Matthias.
That was with him.
That's how you pronounce that? Okay, Eklund.
Yeah.
All right.
It's Swedish, I think. Hopefully I'm right. I think he's Swedish, and we played a beautiful instrumental by him. I had an original that I had to learn. But he, anyway. So the jams.
Good times. The jams.
Yeah, the jams.
We've had really good jams where everybody understood jam etiquette.
Yeah.
And trading and also not playing over each other, and it was really cool. Really cool.
Let people speak, and if somebody is there, hey, give room. That's super important.
Can I tell you about one of my scariest, life-changing jams? I used to be an Ibanez artist, and they had, in 2007, I believe it was their 100th anniversary party.
Yeah.
So they flew some of us to Japan, and Paul Gilbert and his band were the house band.
Okay.
Paul's and Miller. Paul's frightening. He can play anything.
Yeah.
Anything. And he's huge Robin Trotter fan, so he can actually play some blues stuff.
Yeah.
But there were 3 drummers. It was Pat Torpe, Jeff Bowders, who was playing with Paul Gilbert, and he's played in my band as well, a great drummer. And then Simon Phillips.
Oh, okay.
3 drummers.
Yeah.
Then there was Andy Timmons, Marty Friedman, Paul Gilbert, Steve Vai, and then myself.
Okay.
And we all got to play a song with Paul, and then we had a jam at the end. And at soundcheck, it was just deafening loud. And so Simon's like, no, stop. It's like, all right, only one drummer, one guitar player at a time.
Right.
So if you're soloing, you solo, and when you're not soloing, don't play. Except Larry. And he points at me, and I'm like, what? He goes, Larry's the only one who's going to play rhythm when we start soloing. So it's a little frightening. It was a little frightening because it's Simon Phillips. His time is insane.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah.
And now all 3 drummers are really good, but their feel are slightly, even the same group.
Yeah, sure.
Slightly different.
Yeah, everybody has a
so
different...
I'm like just locking in, grooving and stuff. And every time he gets to Simon, I'm like, make sure I'm really in there.
Yeah.
And then I started to notice, like, all right, so Andy is one of my 2 favorite living guitar players.
Absolutely, yeah. So tasty.
Starts out great solo.
Yeah.
Marty Friedman does his thing. Paul Gilbert just...
shreds like, of course.
So things are getting more and more intense, right?
Yeah.
And then Steve Vai goes. And at that point, I'm like, who made this order? Why am I soloing after Steve? And then it's going to loop back around to Andy Timmons. And I was like, no, this is no. And I'm like, got to lock into the groove.
Yeah.
So the only thing I do is I love reverse delay.
Okay.
So I hit the reverse, when Steve finishes his solo and stuff, I hit the reverse delay, I go into stuff. And now Steve takes when we're all in the back, and since you solo, you step forward, right? So I step forward, I hit the reverse delay. Steve comes up and now yelling encouraging things into my ear, which is not helpful. Not helpful at all. It's just like, what's he doing? And then I have to finish my solo, and unlike everybody else, I have to now lock back into the rhythm. Yeah. And it was eye-opening. It was life-changing. It was really cool. I felt, Larry, I could do this. But, those guys had all been... Steve Vai has been doing Steve Vai, other than David Lee Roth, but he's still Steve Vai. Yeah. And Whitesnake, stuff like that. Andy has been doing some other things. Yeah. He did the...
what was it?
Olivia Newton-John. Yeah. He did he was in Simon Phillips' band. Yeah. But... Protocol, yeah. But I did things like Billy Squier tour, and I did Tracy Chapman and a lot of singer-songwriter stuff. So not a whole lot of
rock star business,
right? And I'm like, I'm not getting into a speed contest with these guys. What's going on? Yeah, but it was fun.
Sometimes it's very clever to do not what the others are doing.
Absolutely. In that case, it's like, no, Paul Gilbert is Marty Friedman's insane speed anyway. Andy's tasty. Yeah. Paul Gilbert looks at, is playing, Marty Friedman does that. It's like, all right, cool. So Paul's just nonchalantly just revving it up. And Steve Vai a lot of people don't realize that Steve is still Steve Vai. He does a lot of things, but if you go an extra notch, Steve goes, "Oh, okay, let's do that."
Yeah,
And it's just more notches and more notches.
He can get another level and another level and another level.
I do love jamming with Steve. I teach at the Vai Academy. I've taught at Vai Academy several times, and I usually get to jam with Steve, and I have a blast. And at some of his shows and stuff like that. It's been great.
Yeah, I have a little story with Paul Gilbert because he was also joining my jam at the Guitar Summit maybe the year after. I don't know. I don't remember. And I sometimes try to do weird things like, okay, we have to rely on some classic tunes that everybody knows. Now it's coming back. It was the theme was, let's do Woodstock, whatever was it, 50 years or 70 years of Woodstock, 69, so it must have been 2019.
Okay.
So, anniversary kind of thing. So there's a theme, there's songs, what song, See Me, Feel Me, okay, what is the next song, blah, blah, blah. So, with a little help from my friends. And so, okay, everybody go. Blah blah blah. So this is like, okay, we know the song and what would it, the song works, and at the end we play these eights. And what I like is like we took those eights and made a 4/4 out of it. Doom doom bang doom 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 bang doom doom.
Oh, okay.
You know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then it was totally spontaneous. So I was like guiding the guys and going to the drummer. It's like, hey, and Paul, don't play that, play that. And it worked. It was magic.
Yeah.
It was simply magic. And Paul was so cool with that because wow, this was weird. I've never had this experience. This guy makes some crazy arrangements. You know, he makes it up on the fly. This is what, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, this was cool. Yeah, but this is the thing about jams. There's some special energy. I'm curious, what about the Vai Academy? I only have seen posts on social media about it. It seems like a big thing. Like, how many people attend this?
I think it's around 250.
250?
I think it's around there, I believe, the last one. I'm not totally sure on it, but it's a lot of people.
Yeah.
Steve's camp is one of my favorite camps. I've done Vai 4, 5, 6, and 7. Steve jams with all the campers. You sign up, can't do jam with everybody at the same, in one night, but you sign up and you know what day you have, and you still got to get in line. There's still a lot of people.
Yeah.
And then I do a jam as well, but you go to Steve, jam with Steve first, unless you're not your day, and then you come down and jam with me.
Yeah.
And I turn mine into more of a jam class about how to, etiquette and just starting off. I get 4 or 5 guitar players at the same time to play, and I go, all right, so you're the first, so you have the easiest. You're the last. You're the hardest.
Yeah.
You have to have 2 things. 2 sounds: a rhythm sound and a lead sound.
Yeah.
A rhythm volume and a lead volume. A rhythm part and then a lead. And you gotta look like you're happy to be up here, because there's people waiting to come jam. So if you're on stage looking like, then don't, because somebody wants to play.
Yeah.
So be happy. But so the easiest thing is, if you're number 1, you make up a part. It could be anything. It could be so the next person now has to come up with a different part.
Yeah.
Right? And then the third person has to come up with a part and fit in. And usually no more than 2 guitar players in the same. We were in the same register.
Yeah.
Like, all right,
okay.
So I'll go. So you have to come up with a different register. And then usually, like, someone's always stuck at the end, and I'm like, well, what about just
nothing?
let's let it it go? And stuff like that. And I go, oh.
That
So I'm
makes
trying to
sense.
get people to think of alternative things to do.
Yeah.
And then be ready.
Yeah.
So you have to listen to the person that's before you, the solo.
Yeah.
So that you come in at the right time, and then you have to listen so that you're not playing over your time and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I do, it turned into a jam class, and but anyway, back to Steve. Steve, I've seen Steve jam with a bunch of people, get to the end, and there was one kid who I don't know if he was in a wheelchair, but he could barely walk, kind of thing, and his hands were a little deformed. And then he goes, "What about him?" And they're like, "Oh no," and he said, "No, bring him up." Got him on stage, kind of took forever, formed the chord, and the band rushed. Steve guided the band, they rushed in, and Steve's playing, and they make it big, and it's beautiful, and then they brings it down, and second chord, and then, come back in, and it just made the person's day, or week, or whatever, and not everybody takes the time to get in touch with all the people that are coming there.
That's
people spending a lot of money to do it.
Yeah.
And it's 4 days. You could learn a lot, but there's so much stuff going on that it's really hard to learn. Some people come there, and I don't think that don't even play really, but they come to meet guitar players or Steve or the guest guitar players that they really wanted to.
Yeah, of course. I mean, some of the guest guitar players are also like high-class celebrities.
Oh yeah, it's really. Yeah. We had one. I think it was the first one was in Palm Springs.
Yeah.
And St. Vincent was one of the guests. It was Ingve. Was it Ingve? I can't remember if it was Ingve, but it was St. Vincent. And you know what St. Vincent is? Yeah. She's huge. So someone, every night there's a concert, and Steve plays every night, and then he brings the guests up, and they play songs with the guests. So someone leaked that St. Vincent, on social media. St. Vincent was doing a free concert that night, and the hotel had to basically go into security mode to stop people from driving from LA to come hang out to see this concert that wasn't supposed to, But Steve is great. He's got a great vibe. He sets up the camp, the energy around the camp is great.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Hey, let's jam something. I mean, you have your fantastic FM3 with some.
Somebody had asked some questions about what I use. I don't know about always on effects. I'm using a Fractal Audio FM3. Oh, where's that cat? Oh,
see, we can show it. So look behind the camera. I can get the book out of the...
Good thing I didn't bring that other thing. I'm using a Fractal Audio. This is a loop station to play back tracks, and I can loop off it as well. And this is just to change pages on the FM3, and this is to go to the next song. But this is my travel rig. I use it for a lot of things. I also have an FM9, which is the same thing, but just a little bit bigger switches and stuff. So I don't know if I have an always on effect. I don't think I have an always. I don't always use compression. I use it for some clean sounds. Sure. I don't think there's a compressor in this. But I love reverb. Cool.
Yeah, this was fun.
So yeah, I don't have an always on effect. I use a different preset per song.
Yeah.
And even when I had pedal boards, I always had, I got into MIDI and having a preset per song a long time ago.
Yeah.
After high school, I was in a Rush tribute band.
Oh, yeah, that's complex.
Rush, Triumph, Zebra, and the Police.
Yeah.
And at one point, I had, I think, 2 pedal boards, 10 pedals for clean or for lead, and 11 pedals for lead. And then I saw the first rack stuff with MIDI, and I was like, oh, I mean, I could press one button and change everything. I'm in. So I still have pedals. I love pedals.
Yep.
But
the good thing about me being with Jusen Kettner, I also was seeing Rush quite often because...
Oh, yeah. That's right, he used to...
Yeah, he had a Triumph, Alex Lifeson.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute. See, this is some of the Rush stage...
Yeah, I remember, I saw that tour.
Yeah.
The big washing machines that look like...
Yeah, the washing machines. But maybe there's a picture of me and Alex Lifeson in that book too. I'm glad about my history there. But I'm also glad we have my own company now, and Kiss and wait a minute, where's Alex Lifeson? I'm sure there is.
Yeah, he's definitely in here. It's got to be.
Yeah, he was.
Where is this book? I need to get a copy of this book. They don't make it anymore, right?
Maybe they do have some.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me see. Oh fuck! There's so many people in there. Where this was later.
Oh, is there a glossary that shows you someone's name is at the back? What page are on?
No, I don't think so. Wait a minute. This is la 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 la. Give me 2 seconds.
Okay.
Either I find it now or we have to skip it. Alex Lifeson here he is.
Yeah.
So. These were the days of Alex Lifeson playing Jusen Kettner. And he had the Triumph, which was like 6 channels and MIDI. And of course, he had a pedal board back then, which was like in 2000 maybe, or 2002.
Oh.
World Tour with Rush. Yeah. And I've been to a couple of their shows, met him, spent time with him, cool guy, you know. And complex, great band. Yeah.
Sounds.
Yeah, sounds.
Yeah.
And like massive sound for like a 3-piece. I mean, it's like they used massive drums. Then everybody
had their frequencies, their spots.
Yeah. But I mean, it's amazing what kind of sound you can create with only 3 people. They maxed it out in a way. Yeah, I believe
they were great. So were the Police too. I enjoyed the Police. I'm a big fan of Andy Summers. Yeah, as well. So,
me too. And I had the pleasure to be booked by Stuart Copeland, the drummer.
I played in the band with Stuart. Huh? We never played any shows, but I played in the band. I was in a band with Stuart for a minute.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, he booked me for a studio session in Düsseldorf, actually, where you stayed in the Skyline Studios. Is it called, or was it called Skyline? Was it Skyline?
The Skyline in New York. There was Skyline in New York. I don't know.
No. In Düsseldorf, there's one too.
All right.
So I was driving with my car there, and he picked up this Marshall cabinet, exactly this one.
Okay.
We use as a table now, because I came there and he asked for somebody that can play Jeff Beck style meets Hendrix and stuff. So the guy in Germany recommended me. He checked me out.
Of course.
And then it was so funny. I got a phone call, and I was at a public swimming pool outside. My cell phone was ringing, and then the voice goes, "This is Miles Copeland. Stuart wants to see you." Yeah, we need a session guitar player for blah 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 next week. Can you do it? And I said, sure. Okay, I put you. Then he passed on to Stuart, and he has a very dark voice. I wasn't. It was like, and this was one of those moments.
Yes. Stuart's cool. Very cool. Yeah. I got some questions here with the.
Oh yeah, yes. Let's see. Roni Rickman, lovely to see you together. Looking for jamming in January.
Nice.
Okay. Is this Roni?
This
is Roni
Oh,
Lee.
that is.
Hey.
Hey, Ronnie. We were talking about you earlier. I don't know if you.
Of course we talk only good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Looking forward, Roni. This is cool. Yeah, we don't know your name here, but now we know. Now we know you are there. So cool. Yeah. I went. Maybe she was smelling because your name and my name, and then we talk about her because she's important.
Yes,
always
definitely important.
No, and she's so cool because when she organizes all these jams, it's like sometimes I think, Roni, you are having too many people.
This year's gonna be different.
Less. It's not saying, you know, we shouldn't have. I love them all, but it's like you make your life complicated because of you want 200 things.
She wants to give the love to everybody.
Yeah. And she has a big heart, and she does it, in a very, very nice way. But sometimes I think, hey, yeah.
And everybody knows Ronnie and loves Ronnie, so everybody wants to play.
And she's so cool because the way she's a rock, she's that real American rock lady to me.
She says that's her German name.
Rickman.
Rickman?
Yeah,
all right.
Rickman. That's okay. Cool. Right. Hey, looking forward. And she sent me the email already. And here's the thing, Roni. I have, and everybody of the jam things, I might organize a jam in LA on that Saturday, the last day of the NAMM. If somebody is still there.
On the Saturday of the NAMM? Okay.
Wait.
Or the Sunday?
No. Because the last day is Saturday.
Yeah.
And
that's when I usually do mine.
Maybe then we have to team up together. Let's see. October, November, December, January. We are talking the 25th. Is this yours?
Well, actually, I don't have it yet. Every year they make me apply, but I've done it 10 years in a row. Yeah. Every year they make me apply again. So
because the thing is, they kind of moved the NAMM one day earlier.
Yeah.
And it used to be for the Sunday, and now it's Saturday is the last one.
So maybe, I don't know, maybe they'll have me on Friday. I'm not sure.
Exactly.
Okay.
So in that case, we all have to find out that and synchronize.
Okay.
I had the idea of making a jam on the Saturday.
Okay.
Funny thing, coincidences, how they go. I stay in LA the week after the NAMM. I have a friend over there, German from Hamburg, because I lived in Hamburg for a couple of years because Hamburg was a big city compared to Saarbrücken, and there was all the record companies and things, and I was in that huge band and I had a connection to the companies too, and I tried to do a little producing as well, which I stopped, which is also good, but you know, we all
producing bands is crazy.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
So anyway, and one of my friends that I met in Hamburg living there around 2000 moved to Los Angeles, and here comes the story. His name is Gunnar, and he is also a guitar player, of course. And he's a teacher, LA guitar teacher. That's his email, that's his website. Anyway, then there comes a guy that sees me here and on my live stream, like we are doing now, I'm talking about me having a friend in LA that is a guitar teacher. So this guy takes lessons from him.
Oh, okay.
I was there after the NAMM show at Gunnar's. And then this guy says, I want to invite you for whatever, lunch, dinner or something. Let's hang because finally I can meet Thomas. He watches the live stream, you know. And then next thing is, this guy is a video producer in Hollywood with a company of 70 people and whatnot.
Nice.
And he says, you know what? I can't make it, but I got free tickets for a live show with Greg Koch.
Oh yeah, nice.
You want to have the tickets? I said, oh, why not? Okay, let's go there. You know, this is what you do. So I went down there, with my German friend who emigrated to Los Angeles, watching Greg Koch playing in LA in that club. So next day we had the guy that gave us the tickets, that took the lessons. We had breakfast or something to eat. Talked about everything, and I said, I like to do those jams. And I said, the guy where you do the where you have been for the concert with Craig Koch, that's one of my best friends. Maybe I can make connections to that club and you can play there.
Okay.
And I thought, wow, that's a really good club. It has a fantastic...
Which club?
It's somewhere... I forgot the name, sorry.
It's that club in LA.
It is that club in LA. It's actually between the airport and Del Rey. What is it?
Marina Del Rey.
Marina Del Rey.
Yeah, but I don't know what club
in that area. It's not LA downtown, of course not. It's not in the valley, but it is somewhere there at the district around Marina Del Rey, but not in the really touristic district.
Okay.
It's a cool club. It's a super cool club. Greg Koch was playing there in January after NAMM. We can look it up and find out what the name of that club was.
Okay.
Anyway, and so I have the idea of doing something there on that Saturday. Let's see if that works out. So, and of course, you are officially invited.
Thank you.
Hopefully yours is on Friday, then I can do that.
Yeah, well, it probably will be.
And Roni as well.
Someone asked me, why did I leave Ibanez to go for Knaggs? Technically, I did not leave Ibanez to go to Knaggs. I was with Ibanez guitarists for 26 years.
Yeah.
And I think that they were focusing more on younger, back to metal heavier players, I think. And I had survived 26 years. I had survived through lots of waves of music and styles and stuff like that. But it got to the point where some weird stuff happened, and I just said, I'm going to. I have some great Ibanez guitars, and can continue playing those. But I also have a couple Les Pauls. I have Strat, some Tellys for recording and stuff like that I always used, and I was just going to play them. At the time, I think I had just hung out with at a Joe Bonamassa sound check, and we were talking about endorsements and guitars. He just goes, just play whatever you want to play. So I said, I'm just going to play my guitars and whatever. I wasn't looking for another endorsement. I didn't want to be connected to another company. But I do love going to see guitar factories and how guitars are made. So I went to the Gibson Custom Shop. Yeah. I wanted to go to see Paul Reed Smith every year for a while. For about 10 years, I was at doing master classes and working with an artist, Dawn Avery, Native American artist, at Montgomery College, Rockville, Maryland. And I would be there for a month. We'd do a record, we'd do a concert or two, and I would do a class, one or two classes, either in production or guitar or sometimes both. And so Paul Reed Smith is there. And I called Dave Weiner and I said, Dave, can you talk to them and see if I can get a tour of the factory? And he goes, oh yeah, I'll love it. They'll love it. They'll probably try and get you to switch. I'm not trying to switch or anything. But that didn't happen. So I was in Maryland and I said, there's another guitar company here. And I didn't know the history of Knaggs. Yeah. But I grew up in Far Rockaway, Queens, and the local guitar hero was Steve Stevens.
Of course.
Yeah, he was there. Yeah. He lived, Far Rockaway. So I called Steve up I think I called Steve. And I said, yep. I asked him could he make an introduction to Knaggs? I just wanted to come and see the factory. Yeah. And he wrote just a ridiculously nice email to Joe and Peter. Yeah. And
Peter Wolf.
Peter Wolf, yeah.
You know the background of Peter Wolf? German?
Yes.
And
yeah. He said to tell you hello, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Mm-hmm. And the train station where you had to Copeland. This is where he worked in a music store when I was a teenager.
Oh, really? Peter.
Peter, no? If you hear that. And he sold me my first Fender Stratocaster.
Wow.
So, this is how long we go back.
Wow. See? All right. Okay.
So, and now he's with Knaggs Guitars.
Yes. He was with Hamer, I believe, and then
always
PRS.
Great brands. Yeah.
And then
PRS.
And he was in... I think he might have been at the Guitar Show or the Guitar Summit or some other show in Germany when I went to Knaggs. Yeah. And I just hung out with Joseph Knaggs. And that's when I learned the history of like how he went to high school with Paul Reed Smith. He started working there. He created the private stock program. and every guitar I played carefully because I didn't want to scratch anything because they're expensive. I would be like, this isn't my thing, but it could be. It's just playing different type of guitars. And after that, Joe offered to build me a guitar. I was like, and when a master builder says they want to build you a guitar, you go, thank you very much.
Of course.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And then that led to some other stuff and led to stuff. And then they called me and asked me if I wanted to do a model. And that was it. So this is my model. And it's based off a 63 Strat. It's the same neck profile on the back. Lots of things like a 63 Strat is based off that, but little modern touches.
Modernized in a way. Mm-hmm. And you also have a little bit hollow here?
This is a semi-hollow. I have a couple that are full solid body, but I've been playing the semi-hollow lately.
It's lighter than too,
it's lighter and it's a different, slightly rounder tone.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's like my 335 versus a Les Paul.
At that.
Yeah, it's as I told you before we went live, it's like I bought all these amps and guitars when I did the clinics for Jussi Kettner.
You were so smart.
Yeah, and they were actually this I bought in North Germany, and it was sitting in this music shop in Oldenburg at the end of the world, and it's like, I think Larry Carlton plays one of those. Let's try it. Being 25 or whatever. Okay, play this. Oh, sounds pretty good. How much do you want for it? And then it's like, there used to be a Bixby, and it's not the original. Blah 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 blah. And back in the days, people were not crazy about vintage.
Right.
So I bought that for I don't remember, but
nothing near what it's worth.
What it's worth, and I knew that's the good thing. Even back then I knew what was good gear, what was good guitars, and get good.
Sure.
So this was my lucky thing, because so much gear that I bought now is double the value, and anyway, so
very cool.
Yeah.
Let's see what else.
Let's see in the chat what's going.
Oh, Mercedes is on. Door 13. I mentioned Mercedes about the NAMM a little while ago, about the NAMM Jam.
Okay.
I met her for the first time right before that, the NAMM Jam she sang. And then someone said, oh, she's a really good singer. And I still hadn't heard her, but she was right in front. And I had all these guitar players up, and I said, come on up and sing, not knowing at all what she is. Killer vocalist. And she opened the first thing she sang. It was like, oh, okay, that's where we are. That's where we're going.
Yeah. Super.
Shout out to Far Rockaway. Hey, Rob Lucas. Yep, Far Rockaway High School. Class of 82? Yeah, 82. Okay.
Wow. You get compliments on your head by Six String TV, who is Kalen, a guy from here who used at another Lifeson. He is a young, really metal player. We played some of the hardest metal ever. I played the clean part, but he went. So this is like 8 episodes ago. So hi, Kalen. So you working? I think I'm interested in your collaboration, like with Fractal. I mean, you used Fractal for a long time, right?
All right. So I got in 2007. I said I went to do that the Ibanez 100th anniversary with Steve Vai and same as everybody. I got my Fractal a month before.
Okay.
And I was blown away.
Yeah.
But I was like, I don't know if I should take this. I should just take regular pedals. I don't know. And as soon as I got there, everybody had their rigs.
Yeah.
And I had a couple of Fender Twins and some pedals. And I go, I should have brought that thing. When I bought it, when I got it, I don't know if I had super expectations on the amp sounds. I was more about the effects.
Yeah.
Because I was touring with a couple of Native American acts, and I had a suitcase that had 2 pedal boards, because I always had 2 pedal boards.
Yeah.
And you go to the airport and they go, what's this? What's this? What's this? And I was just looking for a really good multi-effect unit. And I heard some really good things about the amp sims and stuff like that. But I still was not prepared for it to be as good as it was back then. And as soon as I got there and plugged in, I was like, oh, I should have brought, because I had been playing it for about a month and going, this is really cool. And I was like, at the last minute, I was like, nah, I'm going to go with what I normally do.
Yeah.
And that was a mistake. But since then, I've been taking it and using it. I did some of the factory presets over the years. They've been very nice to me. I have leaked. I'm glad I'm not leaking this one. But I have accidentally leaked a few things by mistake. At one, when the FM3 came out, I played at the Eventide booth with an H90 and that, and people were like, what's that? What's that? The very first, the Aspects 2 came out, and I had been using the Ultra, and Cliff had contacted me. Yeah. This is when the company was just him and his wife. And he sent me one to use. Not many people were used to it. And I could only, because the editor was weird, I was beta testing it live. And I would show up and people go, what is that? And nobody knew about Fractal and stuff like that. So I could get away with it. But now you can't get away with anything. People start taking pictures.
People recognize it immediately.
But it's cool. I have I have tools. I treat them as tools. I have, one of these. Yeah. It's never leaving the house again.
Yeah, I mean, it's
it's great. It's absolutely great.
And for me, it's also great to have, I'm jealous about the quality of the effects on Fractal. To me, it's the ultimate quality. In the digital domain. I think,
Well, you compare it with
of course. Yeah, there's people that make a amp one pedal board, so they have kind of the analog amp and the digital effects. Yeah. And then sometimes they use also some amps which are getting better and better every day.
Sure.
And that brings up the discussion that we had the other day on the phone. It's like what people actually should have and how many options you have. I mean, there's people that kind of get lost in the universe of too many options, and there's people, that I was once explaining all the options of amp1. You can have this, and you can have a 4-cable method and insert your multi-effector, and then you combine it with a MIDI, and you synchronize and everything. And the guy goes, I'm a 1-cable kind of guy. Yeah. I play the guitar.
There's no right or wrong.
Yeah.
But I think when you create something, you can have it set up so that it does a lot of options. Because there are always going to be people, I wish it had this, I wish it had that. But it's probably good to have on the surface as simple a function as possible. And these are as simple as functions, and people still get these wrong, I have played. I'm not going to say what year because then people will figure it out. I have played a few festivals where, in fact, I played one guitar festival, and there were a couple of guitar players in there at soundcheck in that hot day, and they were looking at me like, "What amp are you going to use?" I'm like, "No, I'm not going to use it. I'm just going to go direct." I go direct actually, and they were kind of snickering or whatever, and I don't pay attention to that. And they got up and played, did their sound check, and just because you have a tube amp doesn't mean you have great tone.
No.
And it was like bees buzzing, and it was weird. Yeah. And then I plugged in and played, and then they were all around, and they asked me questions. I probably could have sold them something else. And I go, it's the year 2000, whatever. Yeah. The Fractal is just one thing. There's so many options. The Amp 1 is a great option. The HX Stomp is amazing. Quad Cortex just came out with something new today. Yeah. What I have at my house now is a Hot Tone.
Yeah, the Chinese one, the small one.
The small one. Yeah. And then right after they sent me the small one, they came up with the bigger one, which actually has more functions. So, but the small one sounds really good. And I was like, wow, there's so many options. Yeah. It's a great time to be a guitar player. Absolutely. Not a great time to be a musician making a living at it, but it's a great time to be a guitar player.
Yeah, I totally agree on that one. I mean, we have all the tools at any price point. Let's put it that way. Yes. And you get amazing gear for like 200, as amps, as simulators, as guitars. Today you pick up guitars, some of the house brands by some of the bigger companies is like, how is this possible?
Yeah, it makes you wonder. It's like, how are they making this? It's just like they got like 5-year-olds in a factory soldering.
But that's good. But going back to the music business, I remember the days when I was playing before 2000 as a session guy or being a hired gun, I made good money. I mean, I made more money doing that than I was doing with the amp side.
Okay.
Which was funny. So I always was on both sides of, but I could see how this went down, and the music side went down, and then I thought, you know what, somehow I still enjoy playing the music, but it's hard to be an artist. And okay, I've done my thing. I've got my best of album. I got a few DVDs, as we all do, and things like that. But I thought, let's play the safeguard. I put my passion into the amps and have my own company, and hope that this will do the next 15, 20 years.
But that's also a big part of your personality. That's something you know really well.
Yeah.
And what's great is not only you building amps, but you play and you still play.
Yeah.
I know some people that own companies, and they started the company because of a need, because they were playing. Yeah. And then I invite them to my jam, like, oh no, I don't play anymore. I'm like, what?
Come on. Yeah.
And I think that
it should. I mean, I encourage
when you separate that. If you stop playing, then your next inventions aren't from a need for it. It's just a marketing thing. And you might not know exactly what's really needed at the time by the guitar player that's working.
Exactly. And this is why I want to be challenged. It's like, and this is why I'm sneaking on stage when we do jams. Hey, what is your pedal? What is this doing?
Yeah.
And it's like, I want to see the moment when I see people suffer because of sound issues. I'm talking about those jams too. It's like sometimes, maybe you have seen or maybe not, sometimes I jump on stage and turn a knob because I know what to do. The guy is playing and he's busy, and I think, come on.
They're not thinking about the tone. They're just thinking about playing.
And I know exactly what to do. So, Roni knows that. Sometimes there's this kind of, I do the Rodi or the backliner. I jump on stage and I turn two knobs, and hopefully it makes everybody happier, and it makes more sense.
Yeah.
And I've seen that so many times. That makes me think a lot how complicated gear can be for a situation.
We have an interesting situation. So it's always been like, if you have a Marshall, you know where the knobs go. If you have a Mesa Boogie and you only play Marshalls, you have no idea where the knobs go. If you have a Marshall, back and forth. Different amps, you have to set up different ways. We're running into a situation now where I meet 20-somethings that have never played through a real amp, 2 amp, which is fine, except I think you get the best out of modelers when you know the amp. And I guess I was in Germany a few years ago before the pandemic, and a studio here, a guy hired me to compare the Ziggy Braun.
Ziggy Braun,
the summer of '59, his Les Paul versus a real 1960 that belonged to I think the original guitar player from Bop, who I've seen before.
Yeah, for Bop.
I think it was Bop.
Yeah, Klaus Häuser.
And the only amps they had there, they moved all the Marshalls and everything out for the video, and the only thing they had Ingles.
I know,
And I had no experience with Ingle other than in the Fractal, and I didn't like it. Hear me out. Yeah. So we do the video and finish it. The owner of the studio's son, it was like 9 or 10, plays drums. And he goes, will you play with, when you jam? I'm like, sure, how could I say no? Yeah. So I go back in and go, oh yeah, it's there. So I hit channel 1, I go, no, channel 2, no, channel 3, no. Channel 4 is like, whoa.
That's
jamming. I kept going back, I'm looking, and I was like, I would never set the knobs that way.
Yeah.
And I took a picture of it. I went back to my hotel room, put the headphones on, dialed it up, dialed up the 4-tone cabinet, copied the settings, and go, oh, that's how you set this amp.
Yeah.
I had not a clue.
Yeah.
Not a clue. So before whenever I try a modeler, or if I try something, I don't like the way this sound, I go, what is it supposed to be? I have no experience with that amp. So I'll get back to it later. So in anything like that, I usually, I'm using, my lead tone is the 1987 X Plexi in here.
you are in this world. Is here, and
because I have experience with it.
Yeah, and this is also 19.
Nice.
This is on my new upcoming Amp X, and this is also one of my favorite amps, which is cool because we kind of all seem to like similar amps.
Yeah. And I have Fenders. I mean, I always use Fenders. I remember in the 80s, I still wish, I don't know where it is. I had a white 200 watt Marshall PA head.
Oh, nice.
I have no idea where that thing is. But I didn't understand Marshalls back in the 80s. And I just recently, someone sent me a video of me playing in a punk rock band.
Okay.
I would call it punk rock. And I'm looking at the video. There's 2 412 cabs and 2 plexis. Mm-hmm. Are those my amps? Where are they if they're my amps? I don't remember because you trade stuff back and forth. Sure. But I was like, oh, this tone is horrible. I didn't understand how to do it. You know, stuff like that. I had Fenders and always did pedals. Yeah. But I understand Marshalls a lot better now.
For me, I see the word like there's different schools people coming from.
Sure.
So if you are that Fender combo guy that use pedals, you have a reference point.
Yes.
And I mean, many people know that pedal show, which you know, Daniel Steinhardt and Mick Taylor. Mm-hmm. Hello, by the way. And they have totally that reference point. And this is when they choose amps, it's like, you know, the amps have to have that super kind of dynamic, clean sound and no break up because the pedals do all the thing.
Right.
Which is, I know how it feels because I'm different. Mm-hmm. I'm coming from the Marshall background.
Right.
I want that dirt coming from the amp and use pedals on top of that.
Right.
And then when I switch to the clean world, I'm the Fender combo guy.
Yeah.
And so, but it was so funny because I was at that pedal show, and it's like they know exactly what they want. Which is great because for them it's easy peasy to dial it in.
Right.
Because they have that picture in their head, they know that's the pedal platform amp now, and now everything works. And they can actually tell you this amp is better than that amp for what they are looking for.
Right.
So
I went through a journey on both. I started out in a Rush tribute band with a Marshall Lead 12. Remember those?
Yeah.
And I was like, I tried a couple of amps. I had a Music Man 110, 112 RD.
RD 112.
RD 112. Yeah. And then I got into the rack gear. Yeah. And then it was all rack preamps. And then it's with Billy Squire, and he was using heads. And I was like, and then I couldn't move the rack stuff anymore. Yeah. And I had I discovered. Yeah. I was living in a small apartment in Manhattan, and all the gear was in storage. And I had someone called me for a gig. And it wasn't one of those things where I could go get all that stuff because I also didn't start driving until 1999. Oh, I was 36 years old and started driving because I lived in Manhattan. I didn't.
Yeah, okay, in New York.
So I was like,
parking spaces are ridiculously expensive.
Right, and so I couldn't like hire someone to go bring my gear while I did this gig. So I went to Sam Ash, and they lent me a little Tweed Pro Junior.
Yeah.
Great amp.
Yeah.
I still have a few of those.
Yeah.
And I had a Memory Man and a Tube Screamer maybe and a volume pedal. Mm-hmm. I was like, this is cool. Then I started on 2 of those when I lived in San Diego and a pedal board. Yeah. And so I went that way. Yeah. And then I did that up until I switched to this, which was recreating, which is cool because I can recreate
what you had in the past.
Both of them, like the rack gear, I can the Marshalls or the Fenders and stuff like that. And one piece of advice that I will say, unsolicited piece of advice, because every now and then people will call me up and they go, I can't get the Fractal to work, or I can't get the HX Stomp working.
Same here.
And I go, and if I'm home, they'll bring it over. And there's one guy that came and he had a very complicated preset. He was using one preset, but it was like, who made this? He goes, I was just copying this and doing that. And I was like, what kind of music do you play? And I said, is this what your real rig was? He goes, oh, no, I just use Boss pedals into a Fender Twin. And I'm like, you should start there.
Yeah,
recreate your rig. And get it if you figure out how to get the modeling rig to sound like to be exactly like your real rig, then you understand that modeler as well. And then you can experiment.
Then you can take it from there and you can go next level. But if you if you don't have a solid foundation with anything, it's useless. It starts with the guitar, people, and that I totally get it. And this is why sometimes I have when I listen to people, I think it's so basic. Your problem is so basic, It's like, just turn the treble down, and the world is in order. Yeah. Or less gain will help you, and blah blah blah. So, and for me, the electric guitar, the tone starts in your head.
Yes.
And once you have a vision of what you want, you have chosen already the gear, and you worked on your tone with the gear that you have used for several years.
Yes.
So that's the reference point.
That tone is in your head because you, I'm pretty sure, no matter what you play through, are going to sound like you. You're going to die. You're going to make that amp or whatever sound as close to what you hear in your head as possible.
You can give me the shittiest amp, and I still will sound like myself. This was back in the Hughes and Kettner days. People were joking about that. Thomas can make even the beans can sound like a Hughes and Kettner or whatever. But the point is, it starts in your head. Mm-hmm. The next thing is, when you spend a lot of time with certain equipment, with your gear, you connect to that gear, because it's like how your attack adjusts to that. You adjust the amp to your attack. It's a ping pong relationship with the gear, and this raises this creates the tone. So if you buy any new gear, doesn't matter if it's analog, digital, tubes, non-tube, or plugins or whatever. Mm-hmm. If you just switch to presets and you cannot connect to what you learned, it's useless.
Right.
And it could be the greatest tube amp of all times, or the best modeler on the planet, or whatever, and it's like hopeless. And then people don't have the patience. That's the point. People should have the patience to go back, connect, and then take it from there, and then you can grow.
Yeah. You have to have patience. You have to. Yeah. You spent hours just dialing in amp sounds and effects, and that's how you learn the effects. You just spend hours.
See the Marshalls over there in this side.
Oh yeah.
See the Marshalls over there. Yeah. See the Marshall behind you. See the Marshall here, and the same goes on. And we haven't been to the other room with all the tubes. With the Marshalls, with the old Marshalls, I have been, for my tone, I have been with every option on tubes, power amp tubes, preamp tubes.
I remember with my friend Mitch Diamond, he was like in a Ritchie Blackmore tribute band or Deep Purple tribute band, and he had, besides just a ton of Strats, he had Marshall heads and cabinets and this is where I learned a couple of valuable things from Mitch. One was he had one cabinet that he always used. Reference.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand until then how important the cabinet was. Oh. And now I think a lot of people know because of IRs and stuff like that. The cabinet is probably the biggest determination of the tone.
Yeah.
And so I learned that, but I remember him swap. He goes, "Oh, this is almost it. Let me swap these tubes." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And he would swap the tubes and go, "Oh, yeah." Right. And then he's just like, he'd go like, "All right, I'm going to take the tubes out of this amp and put them in this amp," and so forth and so forth.
I'm a Blackmore fan myself, and it's like in German we have that sound in the alphabet. It's the U, and then there's the Ü, like
Ü,
like Uber. Okay, you have the Uber taxis,
yes,
and it's Überschall in German. So and the Ü is this. You can you know.
You rolled off the tone.
No,
it's full up.
It's all the way up, but. I think especially the D, if I bend it up here, or it makes that Ü.
Yeah.
So, and that's my reference. And trust me, I've been with this Marshall, and this Ü is more like a Ü, and this one it's lower.
And people think we're crazy.
Yeah,
and then people are like, "No, come on,"
Yeah. But once it's perfect for me.
Yes.
It's a personal thing, you know.
Yes.
I mean, it's a personal thing. I'm so happy. It's like, and this is because I heard this from Richie. You know, I heard this from Richie Blackmore. This was like for a very life-changing experience. That you know, something like this, and it's like a little boy, you learn a word and I repeat it, and this became part of my tone. You know, so there's the Ü in Richie Blackmore, and I'm always looking for the Ü, and I'm looking for the O on the strat. You know, that kind of American spaghetti western sound. And to me, that's an O. And most Stratocasters, if I don't like them, they have too much A. This is definitely, hey, I'm, you know, O.
I hope you guys are paying attention. This is pretty cool.
And that's some of my reference vocals. Is it vocale? Is it English? Yeah, maybe. Noises. You know, I have that Ü, I have that O, and I need a few other chords, like an A major power chord.
And you can tell what the amp is like.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. I think someone, Rob Lucas, you have a Britwin 75. Yes, I have one of those too. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. The Marshall tone and the Vox are pretty good. What is going on? What do you think of Boss Katana? It sounds pretty good, but you can tell it's digital or stereo sound. I much prefer Amp1, Mercury, or Quilter. Well, I mean, as we just said, it's a personal thing.
Yeah.
If you ask me, I prefer my M1 because I spent hours learning from these, putting it in there. And there's my Ü, you know? And maybe it's not so much there with some other amps, but this is why I designed the amps my way. And I'm learning from my past, and I'm learning from, you know, everybody that I see, basically. And I'm getting inspired. I mean, your spacey...
I love... Verb. Oops.
That's
I'm on there.
So good.
Let's see what else. things. I have an idea that you probably have thought about and rejected for whatever reason, or putting it out. But we'll talk about. I won't mention it right here.
Okay, there's more we can talk about it. Hey, by the way, I think we covered 2 hours already.
2 hours? We just got started.
Yeah. But that tremolo is awesome. By the way, you get a comment for that.
I love effects. I love programming stuff.
Yeah.
I think someone said I should program some stuff for your amp one, but where is it? Oh, I passed it. So that's the problem with having too many presets. And like, what was it? What was I on before?
Yeah, this one, or this one. Oh, maybe not this one.
Oh, here we go. So it's a. I call that living verb.
Yeah.
So there's an auto wah behind the reverb, just on the reverb.
Yeah.
So
just on the reverb.
It's just moving.
Yeah, and that's so cool. That's so cool. Is this? Have you designed that preset, or is this like a preset that you tweaked, or is it?
There was a couple of presets that were like that. I don't know who made them in the early days, but I've definitely added to it a lot.
Yeah.
So that I like the once you do that, because I love keyboards where
something
moving.
Happens. Yeah,
so it's just reverb is moving.
Yeah.
2 hours.
Hey man,
Thank you.
Big pleasure.
Yeah.
I'm so happy that you made it. I think there's. I'm looking forward for the next jam somewhere on this planet.
Probably NAMM.
You are at Guitar Summit as well?
No, I have to be back in Florida the day that the weekend of
started.
Guitar Summit.
Okay,
yeah. I was hoping to be here, but I leave on Monday. I head back home on Monday.
Okay, yeah. So I have good memories for you being at Guitar Summit.
That was great.
Yeah.
I would love to go back to that. One of the cool things I loved about Guitar Summit, I was walked in, and I was like, after about 20 minutes, like, this is different than a NAMM show. There are no amps.
Yeah, it's quiet.
The amps are it's quiet, and the thick carpets, it didn't hurt my legs.
Yeah.
And then, like, everybody's... and I think it's a better way to, if you're checking out guitars, to check out guitars. Because if you're plugging into these amps, at a show like that, you can't turn it up where you're actually even using the tube.
Exactly. So it's not no sense to do it that way. And for me, I mean, I do the NAMM Show because the NAMM Show is still, like, the biggest gathering of musicians and the industry. I love those shows, and now the Guitar Summit is the second, or is, because it's specialized on guitars, maybe even as important. I think it's great. I'm so happy that we have that kind of show, because in many countries a lot of the shows kind of were disappearing or changed, and a few are coming back. Which is also great, because I love to meet people that are on the same trip.
It's a bunch of guitar players.
Yeah. And these shows are great to meet these people. Yeah. Hey Larry.
Yeah.
Again, big pleasure.
Thank you.
And
thank you, Lucas.
Yeah. And thanks, Roni. See you soon.
Yeah, Ronnie.
Yeah. Okay. Cheers, guys. Talk soon.
You didn't do any German. You didn't say anything in German. Do you normally do it in German?
Guten Abend.
Schlaf gut. Schlaf gut.
Schlaf gut. Auf Wiedersehen. Tschüss. Okay. Take care. Bye-bye.